Good morning. John Morgan with New Life Calvary Chapel in Boot Jack, California. Hey, I was wanting to come to you today on this Think About It Thursday and talk about an experience I had this past week. I was traveling and bouncing around from airport to airport, and one morning about 6:30 in the morning, I'm waiting for an airplane, and this man, a couple of chairs down from me, pulls out his Bible, and so I strike up a conversation with him. It's not very often you get to talk about God in an airport like that. But so I asked him what he was studying. He said Jeremiah 48, and he invited me to study it with him. So as we dove in, first off, what a blessing from God to bring us together like that. But also, what a blessing it was to my heart, because it really got me to thinking about some of the things that I do in my life. And so Jeremiah 48, verse 11, this really stood out to me. It says, Moab has been at ease from his youth. He has settled on his dregs and has not been emptied from vessel to vessel, nor has he gone into captivity. Therefore, his taste remained in him, and his scent has not changed. And what it's talking about there, in the literal sense, it's talking about making wine. And in that day, they would put the juice into a great big vat or a vessel and let the sediment just kind of all fall down to the bottom, and then they would pour the wine from vessel to vessel, taking the good off the top and leaving those dregs or the sediment in the bottom of each vessel. And they would do that over and over until they had good, pure, basically filtered or settled out wine. And it got me to thinking about a bottle of wine that my wife Lori's grandmother gave to her. Now on the bottle there's a date on there, 1974, which happens to be the year Lori was born. Don't tell her I said that on the internet. But this bottle has been sitting in the same place for a very long time, and like this area Moab, which Moab, it said that it had settled on its dregs. It hadn't been emptied from vessel to vessel. It's really saying this area had never experienced hard times. Like this nation had never been put to the test, challenged, shaken up. And so like this bottle of wine, it sat and sat in the same place for a very long time. And unfortunately, or interestingly, and I have it here, it actually ended up, this is a bottle of red wine, and it ended up settling, see all those dregs or the sediment down on the bottom. But for the most part, it's like this weird clear liquid in this bottle. And that's sort of the point here, is that I can only imagine how bad that liquid is inside that bottle after sitting comfortably in the same place for such a long time. And here's what's interesting about that. Comfort without challenge can lead to decay. Stability without movement can lead to stagnation. And that's what's happened to Moab here. That's what's happening in that bottle of wine. And I just hope that, we can keep in ourselves a certain level of, as Pastor Eric says, tension. And that tension can keep us alert. It keeps us dependent on God, not on ourselves. And sometimes God needs to shake things up. So, like if I take this bottle and I shake it up, those dregs start to move around. I'm not saying that this is going to be good red wine, but it does change the color. It puts that that flavor back into us. It kind of spreads that settledness out. And also God tells us in Proverbs 27:17 that iron sharpens iron. And that involves oftentimes grinding. It involves scraping, cutting away those dull edges. When we sharpen one another through God's word, there's bound to be some friction, a little discomfort. There will be change. But shaking, scraping, and grinding is how God shapes us. And in that process, while it might be uncomfortable, it's certainly worth it. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope that you are blessed with God's word. I hope that you are able to find someone to sharpen or be sharpened with. Being in that relationship with other believers is so important because iron sharpens iron. People sharpen each other in God's word. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye now.